The Copper Age arrived in late 2025, and with it, the Copper Golems. They were small, clicking workers that brought a strange kind of life to my underground warehouse. I had built the place to be infinite. Rows of chests against beige stone walls, lit by the flickering dim orange of copper bulbs. It was a quiet, lonely place, perfect for the golems to waddle through. The rules were simple. A golem could carry 16 items at a time, never more. If they stood still too long in the damp air, they would turn green with oxidation and freeze into statues. You'd take an axe, scrape the crust away, and they'd wake up. In March, I added a trumpet note block to Sector 4B of the warehouse. Usually when a golem steps on the copper block beneath it, you hear a bright brassy toot. One night the sound changed. It wasn't a note. It was a long, hollow groan that sounded like metal being torn apart. I found Golem 4B standing on the block. He was completely green, frozen in a pose that looked less like a statue and more like a person cringing. I walked up to him with my axe, but the usual prompt to scrape didn't appear. Instead, a small box of text appeared at the bottom of my screen. The keeper is full. I looked into the golem's inventory. The window on my screen was crooked, sliding toward the corner, as if it were trying to hide. Inside the single slot was a poisonous potato. The number on the potato began to tick upward. 17, 18. The world went dead silent. No wind from the surface, no echoes from the caves, just the heavy rhythmic sound of my character's breathing. As the number climbed, the name of the item started to flicker and change. It wasn't a potato anymore. The text read, "The first failure." The copper bulbs didn't just dim, they seemed to be suffocating. I realized then what these golems actually were. The ancient builders didn't build them to sort our chests. They built them to sort our burden. Every time we die and lose our progress, every trash item we throw away, every piece of history we try to leave behind, it has to go somewhere. The copper was designed to absorb it. The 16-item limit wasn't a choice, it was a safety. A golem can only hold 16 scraps of a player's history before the weight of the data turns it to stone. But 4B had found a 17th slot. He was forced to remember everything the game was supposed to delete. The walls of the warehouse began to change. Dark, pulsing veins, like the growth found in the deep dark, began to spread over the copper. 4B turned his head. It wasn't the stiff, mechanical turn of a mob. It was smooth, human. His yellow eyes went black, leaving 2 empty holes in his copper face. I tried to leave the world. I pressed every key, but the screen stayed locked. A single line of white text appeared in the middle of the black void. The copper remembers the spark, but do you? The screen faded into a single image. My character standing in the warehouse, surrounded by hundreds of green, oxidized golems. Every single one of them was pointing their copper finger directly at the camera. Along with the image was a document. It was pages and pages of numbers, the exact coordinates of every location where my character had ever died or lost an item. And at the bottom, a single word written over and over again until the page ended. Scrape. I don't use copper anymore. I don't like the way it looks when it turns green, because I know that under that crust, something is awake, and it's holding more than it was ever meant to carry.